Hello everyone, in honor of Life is Strange Double Exposure, I decided to share with you my personal ranking of my favorite Life is Strange video games. This video game came out in 2014-2015, and I'm a late adopter. I didn't start playing until late 2018, early 2019, right around the time before The Storm came out and right before Life is Strange 2 came out. I love this series, my mom got me Detroit Become Human, and I started playing Choose Your Own Adventure games. I didn't have any clue on how Life is Strange would change my life forever. That first game was a transformative experience, and yeah, I'm just gonna go from my least to most favorite. Even though I like some more than others, all these games are great experiences. Before I continue, feel free to share your ranking down in the comments below. Starting would be the DLC of Life is Strange 2, The Adventures of Captain Spirit. This has to do with Chris Erickson, the little boy you meet in Life is Strange 2, and he has to deal with his father who's grieving over the death of his wife. He pretty much has to deal with the loss of his mother. And you get to see the household and what it did to his father, how he's become a drunk and just lost all hope in his grieving. And through this depressing reality, this boy ends up dreaming up of being a superhero. It's a nice, small human story, a great DLC to Life is Strange 2. However, it's not like a main Life is Strange video game, so that's why I have it a little bit lower, even though it's part of Life is Strange 2. And Steph is such a great character in Wavelengths. I like seeing her at her workplace. I just wish we got a whole game with her rather than just at her workplace. After that, at number 5 would probably be my least favorite with Life is Strange Double Exposure. There's so many cool ideas in this video game. This is the first time we actually had a protagonist's story continue. It's been an anthology series for the most part, with the exception of Before the Storm. But you still got to play as Chloe, a different character. This one, Max Caulfield, comes back. She's all growing up. You get to see how much she's changed after the 2 canon endings of Life is Strange. Despite its great ideas, I'm going to be honest, this one is the first Life is Strange game to disappoint me. It felt like an algorithm made this, or they just rushed it and wrote themselves in a corner. I love the whole idea of solving a murder going through 2 different dimensions. The problem is that unless it was like a suicide with the character, they don't really resolve the murder. They add all this stuff, crazy twists involving Max, involving her friend Safi. And it seems with the ending, they're going to kind of take a Heroes/X-Men route with this, which I can kind of envision with all the different protagonists. The thing is, even though Life is Strange includes characters that have superpowered abilities, the games are really more about the human condition and these human stories, more personal stories. And I kind of miss that. The characters, this game kind of felt more Gen Z. Maybe it's just me. I kind of miss the 2010s millennial West Coast vibe, the indie grunge vibe. I don't know. There's just something about the other games that felt like you were like in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or even Portland, Oregon. It had that type of feel mixed with like maybe Denver, Colorado, Like, even though it was a more kind of fantasy version of those places, it just felt like it was real. And this one felt so claustrophobic. You're at the Caladan school, and everything just felt so small. And I know Life is Strange isn't like an open world GTA game, and it's not like Life is Strange 2 where it's massive maps, but like you would go into each location and you feel like in Arcadia Bay in the original, or in True Colors, you would go to different areas and it feel larger than it actually is. This one was the opposite. Illusions was a great song, but the soundtrack, it was severely disappointing compared to the previous games. It was a very limited soundtrack. And some of the characters I could not sympathize with. They weren't likable at all. Good thing for Gwen and Moses. Those were well-written characters. I would have liked to learn more and have more personality with the other ones. And then Max going out of her way to save Safi when she didn't give a flying crap about her kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought they could have done something interesting with the 2 timelines, maybe even had a reference to Chloe, who was alive in one of them, and made all the endings in Life is Strange canon. They did something interesting with the timelines in this, and they're going to continue it. I don't know how it is. We have to see how the execution is, but the first 3.5 chapters are good. Like the start of chapter 4 is good. It is very short, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have to end the game, and everything just feels so rushed and half-assed. And because of that, it really ruined a lot of the good ideas. The execution of those ideas and how they were implemented and continuing the story of Max was just poor, and this is the weakest entry so far. After that would be Life is Strange Before the Storm. I absolutely love playing as Chloe, and especially playing as Chloe before she's the Chloe you know in Life is Strange 1, seeing how she met Rachel Amber, their whole relationship, meeting her stepfather and what that does to her mother Joyce, and what that does to Chloe and the dynamics there, how she dyes her hair blue, and ultimately the start of the mystery that we see in Life is Strange. And who could forget the DLC ending with Chloe and Max when they were younger? That's such a tragic ending. This game, even though Chloe doesn't have superpowers, it still has that Life is Strange DNA, and this was an excellent first entry for Deck 9. After that would be Life is Strange 2. This was the last Life is Strange game by Don't Nod Games. They're doing Lost Records. They did Twin Mirror, and I thought Twin Mirror did a lot of stuff that Double Exposure could have done. But, you know, this one I feel is incredibly underrated. They knew they couldn't continue the story, that the story ended in Life is Strange 1, and they knew they couldn't, like, make the fans happy or live up to that. So what did they do? They just went with the anthology route with Sean and his younger brother Daniel, who has telekinetic powers. They go on the run after a tragedy, and this is a deep story. And that's one thing I have to say that the earlier games did better than the later ones, is that the choices you make do feel like they have severe consequences. They do play with chaos theory, butterfly effect. And this is one game where you can play over and over, even though it's long and tedious, meeting different people at different places. It feels like you're playing a different video game each time, especially near the last level with all the endings. I love the beauty of meeting different people and seeing the landscape of certain places. This is just another tragedy in many ways, but a beautiful one at that, a finely tuned, well-crafted one. And people can say, oh, it's political. I'm like, it's fucking reality, okay? That is reality. And in this case, it's just brothers who are on the run after a common misfortune, and the people they deal with, both good and bad. And that's something that's basically real life. I mean, get a grip. This is another excellent story and severely overlooked Life is Strange entry. I think continuing what was started in Double Exposure and keep going down in quality, I feel like people have a greater appreciation for this sequel years later. After that is Life is Strange True Colors. Now, I did not think there would be a game that would measure up, if not maybe even be better than the original, and that was this game with Alex Chen as an empath who can sense emotion through colors. I love this. Not only is it great with the atmosphere of the town, but the characters of Gabe, the woman he's dating, seeing Steph at the record store. The characters all have a personality. They feel like your neighbors. I love that we get time to know each and every one of them. And even though it is kind of like a more super fantastical Denver, Colorado looking area, it feels real in this universe. And I love that with a blend of dream sequences, flashbacks, fantasy stuff with the LARP scene was pretty interesting, but also the mystery, how Gabe gets killed and that it may not have been an accident, it may have been a murder, and then what he discovered there that ties to Alex's past and the whole revelations in the last chapters. Oh my God, chapter 4, that ending is still like shocking to me and just gives me goosebumps. Like, oh man, this game was awesome. And it was the first one where you could play all the chapters together. Who could forget the soundtrack? Kings of Leon in it, don't matter. I love it. I love it. The Enya song, oh man, there's so many wonderful moments in this video game that feels pure Life is Strange, you know? And this is probably the best one in my opinion, my favorite at least, since the original. And with that, my favorite is still the original Life is Strange. There is no other game quite like it. I like that you have different people with different abilities, but even Max didn't have the same ability when she returned. This one, she rewinds time. There's a storm coming. She's having deja vu. She sees a friend she hasn't seen in a while, saves her from getting shot and killed in high school. And because of that, it causes a storm that's going to come decimate the town. This plays around with the butterfly effect and chaos theory. In the meantime, Chloe is looking for a close friend, or I guess girlfriend in this case. She's looking for Rachel Amber. These women are gone missing. These people are being drugged at the Vortex clubs, and they're searching for a serial killer. So it has like two different plots that end up converging. This is such a great narrative. If you've never played any of the Life is Stranges, or even the first, start with this one. This would make an awesome movie. But honestly, this is what the video game medium is made for, and this pushed the boundaries even more. And for being almost a 10-year-old video game, this is still one of the most transformative experiences I've ever felt as a gamer. Just awesome with the soundtrack. Crosses by Jose Gonzalez, you know. This has so much good music. Who could forget the Vortex Club scene? Yeah. And that ending is something straight out of like Final Fantasy or something. It just gets to your heartstrings. Anyway, those are my favorite Life is Strange video games. Have you played the Life is Strange franchise? If you have, let me know your least to most favorite entries of the series. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more content. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Be blessed.